Do you have a seventh sense? A hidden ability to feel the Earth's magnetic field? For a long time, this idea was dismissed as pure fantasy. But what if I told you that serious scientists, publishing in top journals, are now providing evidence that this magnetic sense might actually be real? Today, we're diving deep into the science, separating fact from fiction, and exploring the incredible connections between modern discoveries and ancient wisdom. Let's start with what science actually knows. This isn't just a guess, it's backed by solid facts. In 2019, a groundbreaking study was published in the journal eNeuro. Researchers placed participants inside a specially shielded chamber, completely isolated from outside interference. They then artificially rotated the magnetic field around them, mimicking the Earth's natural field. While the participants didn't consciously feel anything, their brains told a different story. Using EEG scans to monitor brain activity, the scientists saw a clear and immediate reaction. Specifically, there was a significant drop in alpha brainwaves. Now, why is that important? A drop in alpha waves is a well-known signal that your brain is processing sensory information. It is the same kind of response you see when you hear a sound or see a flash of light. This was the strongest evidence to date that our brains are physically wired to detect and respond to changes in the Earth's magnetic field. We have a built-in magnetic sensor. But does this brain response translate into actual behavior? Another fascinating study from 2022, published in Scientific Reports, gives us a clue. A team in Korea tested whether people could use this sense for orientation. They found that under normal lighting, people's choices were random. But when the room was lit only with blue light, something changed. Some participants were able to make directional choices much better than pure chance when the magnetic field was altered. This blue light condition is a massive clue. It points directly to a specific biological mechanism involving proteins in our eyes called cryptochromes. These proteins are light sensitive, especially to blue light, and their chemical reactions are known to be affected by magnetic fields. It's what's known as the radical pair mechanism, and it's the leading theory for how birds navigate during migration. The most incredible part, we have these exact same cryptochrome proteins in our own retinas. The machinery is there. The question is, are we using it? So let's piece this together. We have evidence of a brain response to magnetic fields. We have a plausible biological mechanism in our eyes involving cryptochromes, and we have studies showing this can, under specific conditions, influence our behavior. However, science is cautious for a reason. Researchers are quick to point out that these effects are subtle. They don't appear in everyone, and the results need to be replicated on a larger scale to be fully accepted. We're not talking about a superpower that lets you navigate like a homing pigeon. So, can we call it a seventh sense? With a bit of caution, yes, in an exploratory way. We seem to possess a latent, subconscious, or incomplete magnetic sense. It's a biological system that's present, measurable, but not fully functional in our day-to-day conscious lives. Think of it less like a GPS and more like a subtle, underlying intuition, and this is where things get really interesting. Because when we talk about a subtle, intuitive sense connected to the Earth, we're stepping into a world that ancient traditions have described for thousands of years. It's almost as if science is just now catching up to ancient wisdom. Take Eastern traditions, for instance. Concepts like qi in Chinese medicine or prana in yogic philosophy describe subtle energy flows or vital life forces that run through the body and connect us to the wider world. These traditions have always maintained that the human body is sensitive to natural fields, both from the Earth and the cosmos. The idea that we have a biological sensor for the Earth's magnetic field provides a fascinating physical basis for this ancient intuition about being connected to subtle fields. It's not just in the East. Think about Western traditions like geomancy, the art of dowsing or sensing earth energies. For centuries, geomancers and dowsers have talked about feeling telluric lines or energy axes. They speak of certain places feeling charged, healthy, or heavy. While this was often dismissed, what if they were subconsciously picking up on minute variations in the local magnetic field? Even a weak magnetic sensitivity could explain that gut feeling or topographical intuition about a landscape. Let's go even deeper into traditions like Kabbalah. Here, the human being is often described as a microcosm of the universe, a receiver of subtle influences from celestial and terrestrial alignments. This concept paints the human as an inner antenna, capable of tuning into a vast field of information that isn't perceived by our five main senses. The discovery of cryptochromes in our retinas, acting as a biological antenna, is an almost poetic physical parallel to this ancient symbolic structure. And in Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, there's a beautiful concept called the compass of the heart. It's an inner perception that intuitively guides a person toward truth, toward the right place or the right action. Many Sufi texts describe this feeling of guidance or an inner sense of direction. Could an unconscious sensitivity to the Earth's magnetic field be one of the biological components contributing to these powerful impressions of guidance and orientation? Now, let's be crystal clear about the synthesis here. Science is not proving spirituality or esoteric traditions. A chemical reaction in the eye doesn't explain the profound experience of spiritual connection. But what it does show is that the human being is far more sensitive and interconnected with our environment than we previously thought. The research suggests that we possess biological tools capable of detecting the Earth's magnetic field. It shows these tools can create subtle, subconscious sensations. And for millennia, esoteric traditions have described an inner sensitivity, an intuitive sense whose physical nature might just be partly biophysical. It's not about reducing spirituality to biology. It is about recognizing that these two different ways of knowing, the scientific and the intuitive, might be describing the same phenomenon from two different perspectives. One looks from the outside in through microscopes and EEG machines. The other looks from the inside out through introspection and deep awareness. So, to conclude, the idea of a human seventh sense is not a new age fantasy. It is a scientifically plausible, measurable, and biologically grounded area of active research. While it's not yet recognized as a fully functional sense like sight or hearing, the evidence is mounting. Ancient traditions seem to have intuitively grasped the existence of this subtle human capacity long ago, describing it in the symbolic languages of their time. Perhaps the real discovery is not that we have a new sense, but that we finally finding the scientific language to describe a part of ourselves that we've been known about all along. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey today. If you found this fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the mysteries of the human experience. See you next time.